got another pipe here, and it's been prepped. I'm going to get a new electrode. This is 1/16 7014. Just as an experiment, I'm going to turn the dig on to 30%, and my amperage is 32 amps. Seems to be a nice balance between sticking the electrode and burning holes. So we'll get a tack on here. I'll show you what the tack looks like with the slag on it. It's a pretty hot tack. And I'm going to tack 180 degrees away from that. Okay, I did not burn a hole. That's not the hottest tack there. Maybe kind of a cold tack. So what I'm going to do is tack at 90-degree angles, and then I'm going to clean it up and then get the pass on there. I don't want to weld over slag. Well, that was just about a perfect tack in my opinion. It seemed to be hot enough. Okay, I'm going to have to scratch my electrode here so that I can get it started. Expose some metal there. Unfortunate. That's why I don't turn down my amperage. So this looks like it'll definitely start. That was a nice tack. I'm going to be cleaning up this before I weld more. I want to show you the tack I just did. Right there. I like it. Here are those tacks after I knock the slag off. That one looks kind of serviceable. That one may be a little cold. That one may be a little cold. That one looks cold. I took this to the bench grinder and then I cleaned it up with 60 grit emery cloth. And I misspoke earlier when I said I've never been to welding school. I've been to UBI for bicycle frame building, for brazing and TIG, so that wouldn't help with the stick pipe, would it? Okay, I'm ready to go around this pipe here. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad the material's clean. Checking that the camera's on. Yep, it's on. I'm just being weird. And hopefully this camera angle works. I'm going to turn up the amperage to 34 amps, and I'm going to turn the dig to 40%, which is an experiment. So the dig is at 40%, and the amperage is at 34 amps for these 1/16 7014 electrodes. I'm starting out with a used electrode, and I'm going to go like this. See if that'll start for me. Actually, that looked like it wouldn't start, so let me do that more aggressively down here. Yep, that'll start. You can see it. So let's make that happen. What I'm going to do now is try to go from like 12 to 2. I did not mean to light up there. That went very nicely. That's what that looks like. Boy, I was really happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the other side. That was 12 to 2, so I'm going to go 6 to 8. This is really fun. I'm going, I guess I'm going to go uphill 6 to 8. So that was hotter. It was, scary hot, and I had originally planned to go 6 to 8. Whoa, I fell over there. I had originally planned to go 6 to 8, and I went 6 to 9, and it was just really hot. I almost fell over there into the welding table. So now I want to move to the other side. So that went, I ended up going 6 to 9. So that would be, I'm going to go from 2 to 4 would be the plan. But I don't feel like welding on the slag. Not the worst thing to give this a chance to cool either. That's not an ugly bead. Of course, that's 12 to 2. That's the easy part. Oh, and I'm holding a hot electrode. That's a good habit. Try not to step in the bucket of water. I'll have to remember to put this at the 6 o'clock position. This is that weld that was 6 to 8. Looks like a good hot weld. I definitely don't ever want to weld on slag. So that has to go back down to 6 to 8. And that was 12 to 2. No cheating. Oh, do I need a V-block or what? I hope I edit that out. There we go. What I'm doing now is have chipped off the slag, and I'm going to weld from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I'm always restarting these electrodes, and this electrode looks like I wouldn't be able to start it. It has flux over this metal part. Now I got some exposed metal. Okay, so I'm going to sit in the chair and allow myself that. These 1/16 electrodes sure are funny how they want to wiggle like that. Makes it harder. Okay, so I didn't mean to light up there. I was trying to plan my 2 to 4. Okay, thank goodness that went exactly like I planned it. And I hope it was hot enough. So that was good. That was 2 to 4. So I did 12 to 2, 2 to 4. I did the 6 to 8. So we have the 4 to 6 down there. But now I want to work over here. I have 9 to 12. That's easy money. And so I'm going to choose to go up. And I'm going to have a hard time starting my electrode. So I'll just have fun with that. No, I want to go down. Okay, that went just like I planned it until the moment that I stuck the electrode. I was just about done, and I was saying, wow, that went perfectly, and then this happened. But I got the weld done. Let's have a look at it. It's there. So now I have just a little bit of this pipe left. As I recall, it was 4 to 6. And like I say, I'm not really wanting to weld on slag like ever. So we got here is 4 to 6, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I need a pipe clamp. No cheating. 4 to 6, no cheating. I don't know what's wrong with my clamps here. Like I said, I guess I need a V-block. Okay. See if I have that where I want it to be. It might have moved a little. What the unwelded part has moved from it's moved from like 6 to 7. So, okay. And I want to make sure I'm not welding on slag. Nope. It's all cleaned up. It's right at 6 o'clock. So I'm just going to go for like a fresh electrode. This is like an overhead situation. I couldn't make that work. I couldn't make that work. I was basically laying on my back. So now I'm going to try something different. There I couldn't see very well. I was having to kind of guess where the seam was, and it looks like I guessed right. So I'm going to clean that up and we'll have a look at it. I was pretty happy with how that went. I'm going to need some more light, and I'm going to need a better way to clamp the pipe. And here is the ugly bead. So, flashes of hope in there. Could probably be ground down past the bend test, so now I'll try it again. Just keep doing it till it looks pretty. So here's a pipe, and if I check the fit up, kind of fit up I'm going to get, looks like that is a bit of a gap. So let's see what I get here. Looks like it's serviceable. So I need to remember to clamp that into it. I can hope I can clamp this on there. Oh man, it's clamped on there really loosely. Yeah, those settings, seems like I could raise, I'm going to change the settings. I'm going to set the dig to 50%, and I'm going to raise the amperage a little bit, because I was sticking the rods a bit. I set the amperage to 35 and the dig to 45 on the Miller Dynasty. So let's see what kind of fit up I have here. Looks, I'd call that scary. Scary bad. I guess that wasn't the new electrode. Sometimes it's hard to restart these 7014s. My goodness. I could take a look. That would be hard to restart it. Hard to restart. And then I bent that one. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Have to make sure not to do that again. Okay. So there I burned a hole a little bit. So I'm going to respond by turning down, going back to the settings that I've had earlier. The dig is at 40, the amperage is at 32 because I just burned a hole. And I hate that. And to look at this electrode, it's going to be hard to restart that. I'm having a terrible, terrible time restarting the electrodes. See, that worked out really nicely. Not sure why I burned a hole. Must be the settings. I like that tack. Here's the hole I burned. It had a gap. Probably why. Probably burned a hole because it had a gap. So now I've got to put a tack down at 7 o'clock. And I'm going to sit in the chair and be comfortable. It had a gap, and last time I had a gap I burned a hole, so that is, we're going to call that like it's holding it, and so I'm going to clean that up. Here's what that looks like. Cold tack, terrible fit up, big gap, and that's where I burned the hole, and I'm blaming the gap, and then I got a good tack. So now I'm just going to put this in here any old way. It's pretty warm. That's not going to help me any. Got to tighten this a little bit. Planning to get a V-block soon. My neighbor's mowing his lawn. I think I might be in business here. Okay, so let's see. I got the hole. I'm just going to work around the hole. Learn how to fill a hole with a stick later. So here's my electrode, which is certainly not going to want to restart, but gosh darn it. Got a hard time with the restarts. It's not going to want to start. Okay, so the hole got bigger. It's because of the gap. That gap really messed me up. So now I'm going to go to the other side. The other side here is nice and tight. That ought to go well. Yeah, if it's a good fit up and I can see, I can get it done. So there's the terrible hole, which I'm still blaming on the big gap. And then here's where it had the nice fit up going downhill like 10 to 9, and that went great. So now I'm going to run a different, I guess right now I'm going to go like 5 to 7 o'clock. I'll just have to get used to restarting. It seems like I might have the settings set. I think I might like the settings. was a little shaky there. That worked. I've got a little seam right here at 3 o'clock. I'll just get that, which is basically a tack. That was hot enough. And now I can go, now there's a gap up top here. I'm going to go, say, downhill. This is 11 to 12. But there's such a big gap, this is when it burns a hole, so I guess I'll do a weave. So that burned a hole. I notice whenever there's a gap, I burn a hole. So I'll have to have nice fit up. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing I guess I'm trying to fix that hole. And try to build up the edge a little bit. This hole is a nuclear disaster. I'm going to try to build up the edges a little bit, but I think that hole's beyond fixing. Okay, well now it's become scrap. I'm going to clean that up, we'll take a look at it. So this is ugly. Here is flashes of hope into the hole. And they have to turn around this way because it's hot. Flashes of hope back to just a gaping hole, which if I had any sense I'd edit that out. Here's another couple of pipes. I'm going to make sure that I have a good fit up. See, if I do that, I'll have good fit up. See if I can get something better here. That would be great fit up. Okay. If I could just tack it up straight, I'll have it. I'll be in business here. So always questionable with the clamping. Okay. Now I want to tack it. I got to make sure to tack it straight. I'm going to start with a brand new electrode. You know, I'm tempted to turn down the amperage 1 amp. Because that hole scared me. And I'm going to turn down the dig to 30%. So these are 7014s, 1/16 diameter. I have the amperage at 31 amps, and the dig is set to 30 on a 220 volt machine. Here I am checking my fit up again. I have to have nice fit up because I just can't bear to burn holes. I just can't take it. All right. Get a tack here. Here's where it would be nice to have one more arm. So I did that tack at 9 o'clock, and it's a real light tack. because I didn't want to open up a gap on the other side. So now, actually that gap was at 10 o'clock, so now I'm going down to 10 o'clock, so I'm going to put a tack at 4 o'clock. And this might be a pretty heavy duty tack. Right now my fit up's still good. That was weird. I had to hold the electrode because these 1/16 electrodes want to boing. So I was holding it. I scratched it like this and I held it like that. And it seems to have worked. I got a real mild tack. I wonder if I'll do that again with this 1/16. You know, just as an experiment, I will try that. Which isn't any sort of technique I've ever seen anyone do, but these 1/16 electrodes just want to move around. So I'll try that technique again here, even though I hope I don't adopt that technique, because I've never seen anyone else do that. Okay, well that worked really well, even though it was left-handed, because it holds the electrode where I want it to be. Now I have one more tack, and it's just kind of funny with these 1/16 electrodes how they want to move around. So I think I'm going to refuse to continue to do that because it just looks stupid. I think I would rather just deal with the electrode moving around. I did do it again, but I held the electrode more in the middle of the electrode, which I think doesn't look so foolish. What I'm going to do now is I've got my tacks, and I'll show you that tack under here. That's a tack at like 7 o'clock or 6:30. I refuse to weld over slag, and I'm going to weld between the tacks. And at one point I'm going to remove all the slag. So what this is, what I have going is coming across the top. Yeah, I was welding it in there nice and hot, making sure I got penetration. That's what that looked like, right over the top. Now at this point, I know that this so-called pipe is getting hot. So now I'm welding on hot pipe. What I can do now is I can do the other side. I'm going to do this here with 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I think I'm going to sit down. I found it's nice to take these electrodes and go like this, exposing some metal for a nice restart. So I'm going to sit down. I find myself holding the electrode while I do this because these electrodes want to boing around. Boing around. Now that was fun. There I wasn't worried about burning a hole. I was letting it go in there nice and hot. I was real proud of that. Right now I can do 5 to 6. I might have to weld over some slag. You can do a 5 to 6. This is done on the top. I got it here. I can do a nice, I got a vertical here. What is that, like 7 o'clock to 9:30? So, works real nicely when I clean my electrode, so it'll get a restart. And I don't know if I should be going up or down, but I do know that I like to sit down. I guess I'm going to go down. I put a lot of heat into that and it did not burn a hole. Almost burned a hole, which we'll see later. So that was what I have left now is looking at it just the very bottom, like the 6 o'clock area. So what I do is I take my electrode and I go like this, shaking the camera all the while, and just get a little around the bottom there. Looks like I burned a hole. I burned a hole at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to clean this up and we'll see what we got.